Welcome to stage 32 of the build a Spitfire Mk1a. In this episode we'll be fitting the radiators in the housing. There's a lot more to do than last week, but if we take in some fresh air, keep our cool, what could possibly go wrong?
For those who fought in the Battle of Britain, it was a battle for survival. For the free world, it was a breathless moment in history. For failure would have plunged mankind into a new dark age. Never have so many owed so much to so few.
Okay, so for the parts check, I'm going to be using tweezers because there are an awful lot of small parts, and I'm going to try and keep them in the tray. But 32.1, we have got this small part, and this is called angled pipe. Part 2 is the radiator housing, and you can see lovely part there. And these are all plastic apart from the photo etched parts. Part 3 is, if I can get it out, is the radiator housing flap. Part 4, radiator housing. Now these two at first glance look the same, so let's see if I can work out which one is which. So it looks like oh right, so this is 4 and 5. These are both radiator housings. I think this is part 4 and I think this is part 5, but once we come to build we'll soon figure out which one is which. But look at that lovely rivet detail, that's beautiful. Okay, and the last part, there's actually 4 parts in one, and I don't think this is photo etch. Oh, it is, it's metal. Okay, so let's see if I've got this in the correct orientation. We have 1, 2, 3 and 4 all on a fret, and these are the radiator panels 1 to 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't see the need to label these. Sometimes what I would do is I would place a bit of masking tape on them, but I think they're actually going to be quite simple to identify. And if when we cut them out, if we lay them on the table 1, 2, 3, 4, I think we should be okay. So we'll begin at stage 1, and we'll need this piece 32T, 32.2, the radiator housing. Oh, and look at that detail, that is absolutely amazing, and I'm chucking it across the table. I like that, that's really nice. And then we'll also need 32.3, which is the radiator housing flap, and all we're going to be doing is, there we go, so we need to pop that into there like that. Now you'll see some little channels, if you can see the channels there, and you've got a couple of little pegs. So what we're going to be doing then is holding the flap that way up with the inside facing out. No, that's not going to work. There we go. So we're going to bring this in so that the pegs are down near the bottom, and we just need to pull those into the channel. And then this one here is a little bit too big, so we're just going to gently bring this back. We're going to pull there ever so slightly just to get that in. Make sure the first peg is in, then gently pulling this peg out. We're just going to move that up. Now this looks quite rough, but as long as you pull that peg out, that's going to work fine, and that's what you're going to be left with. So we're going to have this flap that now moves because it's pivoting with those pins in that hole. Nice and simple, guys, but do pull this back. Don't pull it too much that it's going to snap, but if you pull it near there, it should go in absolutely fine. So I'm happy with that. So step to try to find the instructions. So step 2 is to fit parts 1 and 4 from frame 32.6. So what we're going to be doing then is make sure we have this in the correct orientation, which is this way. Yes, so we've got 1 and 2. You'll see that they're going across and coming down the way that the grills move, whereas 3 and 4 only go up and down. So what we're going to do, you will need a file, and what we'll do is you look for the connection points, and the best way to find the connection points, I find, is to just push on the back. So you see that it comes up there, so you know there's no connection points, and then run the back of the knife around the outside, and I found a connection point there and another one there. So I'm just going to cut there with a suitable craft knife. I would consider using my nippers, but I don't think they're big. I think they're too big. I think I might get away with that. So let me do this one with a knife. There we go. Right. There we go. And I've actually cut it too long rather than too short. And what we'll do is we will just finish that off with the file until it's smooth. Now, in an earlier episode, I didn't file these little burrs down enough, and they really did show. But this one is absolutely perfect. So, if you don't have a knife, or you don't have a suitable knife, let me show you an alternative way. So again, we're finding where the connection points are, and what I'm going to do with my nippers, there's the connection points. So I'm just going to cut either side. One there, one there. So you can see that I've actually left the sprue on the actual piece. Then I can now come in, cut more of it off. There we go. And then we have still left a burr, so we just finish that off with a file. And I'm going to try a little experiment, guys. One of the most cost-effective files I use is this emery board that you can get from just about any convenience store. I just want to see if that's suitable. Normally I only use this on plastic. Right. It is working, but it's certainly not as effective as a file that's designed for metal. So if you don't have your fancy files, these emery boards will do, but obviously a better tool for the job will make lighter work. So there we go, I'm happy with that. Right, so guys, I'm going to get on with the next two. You've seen me do these, so you know what I'm doing, so I will just crack on with them. Okay guys, so one thing that I did forget to mention, I have mentioned it in other videos, you'll see me rubbing the top a lot. I personally think the best test is to feel things with your fingers. When you have a rough burr, you will feel that with your finger. It's not until it's smooth. I don't know if you noticed, but it was I mean that hasn't got a burr on it, but when we had the burr, these are actually very good nippers, and these cut very, very, very close to the end, but not quite perfect. So it doesn't, you can't actually see the burr in many cases, but if you rub it with your finger, you can find it, you can feel it. So as you do these, rub them with your finger. And I've just noticed, I think these are different sizes. Right. So these are actually different sizes. So number 4 is bigger than number 3. And the same with 1 and 2. So I think that was correct. So we'll have to do lots of test fitting. It looks like 1 is bigger than 2 and 4 is bigger than 3, and I'm just checking my instructions. It's hard to see that, but I think that really is the case. But again, test fitting, test fitting, test fitting. So 1 and 4, sorry, and now I can't pick this up because it's so thin. So this is number 1, this is number 4. What we want to do is place that behind like so, and now that makes perfect sense, because if let me put this there, if I place this with number 3, I could just put number 4 down, haven't I? Number 1. Right, so if I place these two together, they don't fit. So that's perfect. So let me just double check. Right, so this is number 1, this is number 4, and we want to place number 4 behind number 1, and you'll see that that will make like a waffle shape now. So oh, I keep dropping the piece. Right, so piece number 1, piece number 4 just have lines that go up and down. Piece number 1 has 2 lines that go up and down, but the rest of them go across. So obviously by placing them together, they make a zigzag. Now, what we want to do now is 1 and 4. Now in the magazine it tells you to put 1 and 4 there, and it shows the other 2 in place, unless I've missed a stage out of my magazine, which I have. Yeah, okay. So yeah, my bad. What's happened is the instructions that I'm reading, I'm actually reading off screen. It's actually missed out stages 2 to 4, but it's actually done stages 5 and 6 twice, but I can see what's happened. So we've got steps, pieces 2 and 3, and I can see that these two go together, and then they will slip into there like so. No gluing required. It does specifically say no glue is needed, and I'm going to place this one with the up and down struts behind, and that's going in the front there, which the front being the piece that doesn't have the flap, like so. And then we get on to piece 4 and 1 at the front, 4 behind, and then that will go in there like that. So guys, I'm just going to do a quick camera cut. I'm going to just get my magazine, and I will just confirm that I have done that correctly. Okay, so I have just checked my magazine and this is correct. So what we need to be doing is placing the piece for the up and down struts, that goes behind, and then the other second piece goes in front, and we just slip those into there like so. There we go. Perfect. So that's just going to add a little bit of detail. So on to the next step then, which is stage 7, I believe. And what we need is these two 34 and 35. This is step 7 and step 8. So again, checking the orientation, remembering which pieces are which. 34-4, we need, you've got like a little, right, so we've got the pegs, and the pegs are going to go downwards, and for this side, which is stage 7, this bit along there, we need the curve on the outside, and you'll see that there's indentations there. Those indentations need to be further to the front, and what's going to happen is those two pegs will fit into there like so. And that's not quite as easy as you would think. As you line one hole up, it takes another one out. There we go. And that does actually hold in those metal pieces. I was looking at it and thinking maybe it's not quite big enough, but that is going to hold those in. So stage 8 is to do the other side, piece 32-5, the housing panel. This is going to go in the other side, a little tiny bit fiddly as you can see. Trying to jump out of my hands, but we just push those pegs in. And now this one for me is loose, this one's quite tight. Now obviously I always say it's up to you if you want to glue it in. It is a push fit connection, and it does actually say to glue the pegs in place. So I don't know whether I'm not going to glue this in. The reason I'm not going to glue this in, I can see from these two holes here that that's going to be screwed into place. So you can see that once that's screwed in place, they aren't going to fall out. The second reason is I'm thinking of just doing a little modification to these. I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to paint them black, and then I'll dry brush them silver to give them an older look. And to do that, obviously I'll need to take them out, which means I'll need to take these pegs out. But the main reason really is that I'm going to decide if I need to glue these in place when I actually come to fit this piece. I've got a feeling I will, and the reason being, you see there's a gap. So by gluing it in place, it says to glue the pegs in place, but as you can see there, with that gap I'll need to glue the whole line across, and then that will fit that in place. So you see that that's a really nice fit once it's glued in place, but you can see that it's not going to hold, but glued in place, beautiful. So this will get included in my modification series, which should already have come out by now. As I say, glue them in place if you want. I'm not going to, but I will do eventually. So that is the end of that stage. Now I have a slight concern, because this is a leftover piece ready for a future issue. So that needs to be kept safe. I don't know how I'm going to keep that safe. I think I'll use this box, so I've just come up with the idea. So let's see how this works out. So placing it back in the box, cutting around the hole that it came in from, and there we go. And if you that should hold, but if you want a bit of belt and braces, that you could always pop a bit of masking tape. And as usual, I pop all my leftover pieces in my tray. As you can see, I'm still part way through modifying the cockpit, so I have lots and lots of pieces laying around here. But that will sit in there. In fact, I'm going to put some masking tape on it just to stop it from coming apart. It's better to overpack it than it is to underpack it. If that should fall out in the box, I mean, it'll still be in the box, but it'll be rattling around the box. And if I hold it if I hold the drawer too much in the wrong angle, I might lose the part. So that can go in there nice and safe, ready for a future issue. Okay guys, so that's it. Now I'm going to leave you with a picture from the magazine. I don't like to put pictures of the magazine on the screen other than the build, because I do worry about copyright and things, but I think this one will be absolutely fine. And this is a reference picture for the radiator housing. And yeah, so guys, leave a comment and tell me what you think, and then I will see you in the next video, which is stage 33. And in stage 33 we will be fitting the underside of the right wing. So I hope to see you then guys. Take care, bye bye.